Hi, Ivan. How are you feeling? I wanted to ask you how you're feeling, how the team feeling. We leave the league to one side and play in European competitions now. And, I want to talk about your personal experience in this type of game and how you're feeling about it. Good afternoon to everyone. The team are great. We've trained really well over the last few days. We're looking forward to it. We have great willingness to put on a good show and play a good game, to enjoy the game together. Particularly these last few days, the unity we've shown in the group. We want to continue with that. So now it's about training well, prepare ourselves well, and give our all tomorrow. We're convinced that with this unity and willingness to play, we'll play well tomorrow. We believe we can come away with a good result tomorrow and go home happy to Seville. Given the difficult time you've had in the league, the suffering that you've had, is it a day to enjoy tomorrow? Do you think you can kind of show a better version of yourselves than in the league? Well, in the league, of course, we've had our ups and downs throughout the whole season, but we need to think just about those moments that are coming, like this one tomorrow. We have some great games ahead of us, some really strong opportunities, and we compete very well. And if we can continue in that way against a big team, I think we have a lot of ability to put on a good show and have a good game tomorrow and make life very difficult for Manchester United. I believe in the team. We need to just think about the now, the present. And we've been doing that recently. We're getting back our rhythm, our level. And tomorrow it's about competing, continuing in that same vein of form, and see what happens. How have the team improved? What differences have you noticed given the change to the manager? Overall, I would say the way that we have competed, the way that we've prepared for games. We know that it's difficult also to come in and then have so many injuries. But I think right now, knowing the manager, he's a very clear ideas as a manager, and we need to continue in that same way. He wants the same as us. We want to compete well, and we want to see that there's a team on the pitch that know what they need to do. And that's what we're doing. I think you've seen that in the last couple of days, that the team has their ideas really clear, and it's another test that we have tomorrow to back up what we've been doing, these ideas of the manager, the ideas of the club, and we really want to, among ourselves, continue with that confidence. So we need to take advantage of it, prepare well. We know that it's going to be really tough tomorrow because we're playing against Manchester United. They will be favourites. But I think the history of Sevilla in the Europa League, I think everybody knows that, and we want to continue to build on that. Hi, Ivan. How many things have changed since the arrival of the manager? What are the things or the ingredients that give you more hope for tomorrow that the team can take a big step in this competition? I think ultimately when managers come in, they come in with their different methods. It's clear, I think, given that I've competed against the manager many times over many years, I also know that he always manages his teams well. He gets across his messages. It's nothing new, really. It's just a case of getting to know each other each day. That's really important. But that's been important given that we've been able to train together, over the last few days, been really important. And the manager is very simple, very clear. His messages are very clear. And I think from that, we just continue to do what he asks of us. We compete really, really well in training sessions. And I think he's come with that same belief and that same wish to continue doing well. and to have an important say in the Europa League, and I think that's what we want to do all together. It's 180 minutes as well that we're talking about. Is it important to take it back to the Sanchez Pizjuan with the game still alive? No, not alive, not be alive. We want to compete tomorrow, compete well. We've prepared in the best way possible, but this idea of getting home and still being alive, I don't really like that expression. I think we want to compete as well as we possibly can. This is our competition. I think we need to go out tomorrow and give absolutely everything, leave it all on the pitch, and with that effort to be able to go home and satisfied with our performance. If we can compete in the way that we have in the last few days, the last few games, I think we're going to see a great performance from Sevilla tomorrow. Thank you, Ivan. Now we'll continue with the manager. Questions for the manager, please. Let's start over here. How are we doing? I wanted to ask you about how do you face up to a tie like this? You've had 2 games in the league. Now it's a different proposition, the Europa League. You have this tie in the balance. Obviously, Manchester United are favourite in this competition, but you're against a magnificent opponent. What does it mean to you? Yes, my first game in the Europa League with a team, or managing a team. I face up to it with amazing willingness to play this game and wanting to get a great result in this game. You know, we just need to come away with a good result, and that's why we're going to compete. The idea will always be to respect our opponent, but try to win the game. I'm convinced that they will also try to win the game. They'll respect us and they'll respect our history, because our history at Sevilla is perhaps even bigger than theirs. Before I came here, the club had already knocked out some really big sides. We're just 2 steps away from getting to a potential final. So we have to think about the game tomorrow. We know it's 180 minutes. It's not just 90. But we're going to focus on the game tomorrow to compete and focus on winning it. Thinking about have you thought about the 11 tomorrow? Thinking about also the league game that you have around the corner against Valencia? I think we've had 6 days to prepare. I think we only have 3 after this game to our league game. And we're getting players back to fitness. The players that were unavailable for us, bit by bit, they are coming into the group. And I think that's going to help us to compete well. And to have people back who aren't able to play today and can play on Sunday, that will help us. I think right now we're just thinking about tomorrow's game, which is what we should be doing, because we know that the ones that won't be playing tomorrow and have to play on Sunday will be thought about then. What type of game or what style of game would be the best for you, thinking about that you have to obviously have a second leg? How we approach it? We have to compete against them. We have to compete with the weapons that we have. We don't have to think about what they have. At such a high level, Manchester United, we know that. They have some great players and they have a huge budget. But Sevilla, as I've said before, the history that they have in this competition, they've not been favourites on many occasions and they've known how to approach these games. So we can't speculate. We have to go out thinking about ourselves, knowing what we're going to have in front of us, of course. The players know that themselves, but we have to go out to win the game tomorrow and try to get into our opponent's box without worrying about how good they are and we have to stop them from scoring. No, we have to try to win here. And then we will see what happens in the game and we'll see how things go. There will be moments where we have to defend because they'll put pressure on us, but also we'll be able to put pressure on them. I think the idea has to be not thinking about what we've done in the league. We have to try and get into our opponent's box. Do you Does Bono have options to get back into the side tomorrow? How does it feel to be in the quarterfinals of the Europa League, to have gone straight into the job? The 22 that have come, they've been selected in the squad. They have the opportunity to play. And Bono is also in this 22. I think I've kind of almost won the lottery being here and being able to play in this game, or be able to manage in this game. I must have a good relationship with the people that have put me in charge, because I've been a manager for 16 years in Primera División. It's my first time in a European competition, but I'm delighted to be here and in my position. You've just said that the intention tomorrow at Old Trafford is to go out and win. I think lots of people are saying that United at the moment, where they are in the season, are the clear favourites. Do you see that the group are convinced that they can get into the semi-final of this competition, that they can defeat Manchester United? I see the group more and more believing of the cause that we are taking on. I'm not saying that they're better or worse than they were before. I would just say they're different. Just as Ivan has just said, they're training well. They're doing what we are demanding of them in the training sessions. All the players are focused in every training session, which is what we ask of our players, to be able to play in a game that we have in front of us tomorrow. So in that sense, I'm very happy. And that's why I say that we need to think about ourselves more than our opponents. We have respect for our opponents, but we always respect our opponents. When we played against Cadiz, when we played against Celta, we've always had respect for our opponents, and Manchester United won't be any different. But I'm convinced that Manchester United will also have respect for Sevilla for the history that they've had in this competition. And Sevilla have almost never been favourites in this competition, and they've won on many occasions. Could you talk to me about the absence of Rashford in this game? He's injured, he won't be able to play. Has that changed your plans at all, and the way that you're going to approach the game? No, it's not changed anything. It's the players that will play in our defence. If Rashford plays or another opponent plays, it might be different for those individual defenders, but there will be no changes for us. We've continued to train in the same way. We knew about the injury since the weekend when he got injured, but at no point have we changed our approach to the game or adjusted our training sessions because Rashford's not going to play. Because whoever replaces it will be just as good as him, or almost as good, because they have fantastic players. Recently he's been playing as a lone centre forward, but they have other forwards that can come into that position. And in terms of who's going to play, they know that whoever comes onto the pitch for Manchester United replacing Rashford is going to be a great player. Today we've realised, we've found about the players that won't be able to play, that will be suspended. Acuna, Papageye also. Given all that's happened, who are you most angry with? Your players, or the players that have protested, or the referees for having taken those decisions? If you're sent off, you've done something. I don't know if you've done a lot or little. Perhaps you could have been more relaxed and reserved and not done what you've done. But if you've been sent off, there will be a reason. They're not going to give you red cards or yellow cards for nothing. You know, if I score a goal and I take my shirt off, you know, I might get a yellow card. I don't particularly understand those things. I don't think there's any problems at all. You know, it was in the 90th minute. It's the 4th, it's the 5th that we've received. Those things we need to keep our eyes on. We need to take care. And ultimately, the competition, the league will tell you where you are, won't lie because of things that have happened, and all these things have an impact. In that sense, we've not been very good. I think if you've been sent off, there's a reason for your sending off.
A las 7 no abren, ¿no? ¿Cómo? ¿A las 7 no abren?